right, so I'm going to show you a few more ways to seal your snow globe tumblers. So we've got a snow globe tumbler already here to be sealed. So I've got a few different methods we're going to use today. And for this one, we're going to try these little stickers. They're like a clear sticker. And you just, first you wash the top off with alcohol. And then we're going to put our little sticker right on there. And then we're going to finish the top off with a UV resin. So I'm just giving you guys some different ways you can seal these. There's lots of different ways you can seal your snow globe tumblers, so use whatever way works the best for you. But we'll give you some more ideas because I know a lot of people are having trouble sealing their tumblers, and we want to have as many possible ways as you can to seal it. So I've covered that with the UV resin, and then we're going to put it under the UV light. So I'll be right back after this is cured. Alright, and there it is all cured. That works pretty good. On to the next one. Okay, so we're trying some different ways to seal tumblers. And I'm making these in 3 different sections, so if they're a little choppy, that's why. So here's a tumbler that I have dried off, and today I'm going to use some Gorilla Tape on this and some UV resin. So I'll link everything I've used in all these tutorials, or all these sealing tutorials, in my description, but I think this stuff is similar to flex tape. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I did buy this because it was a little more cost effective than the flex seal that I could find here. So all I'm going to do is just cut off a piece of this, and I can't find my scissors, so I'm just going to use my little knife here. I'm just going to cut a piece off, and I'm just going to stick that right on here. And it says that this stuff can be used in the wet and dry. So we're just going to stick that right on there. I'm going to cut off the excess just so I'm not fighting with the rim. All right, and then we're going to seal this with a UV resin. That actually looks like it's going to do a nice seal. So make sure you've cleaned the top off with alcohol. Make sure it's dry as you can get it. And then we're just going to use the UV resin on this, and then we'll use our black light and see how well that seals. Looks like it's going to do a really nice job, actually. And I think with this one we're going to add a little glitter to that. And we're just going to mix that in, see if we need to add a little more of the UV resin. And then we're going to cure this under our light. Perfect. So I'm just going to let that level. This does self-level. And then we're going to, actually, I'm going to add a little bit more of the UV resin. And then we're going to let this cure under the UV light. Let's see this nice seal on the top. This one's sealed really well. I'm very happy with that Gorilla Glue tape. Not so happy with that resin that I have. But yeah, that seals really nice. It looks really nice. Alright, so to seal this tumbler, I'm just going to use some 50% more adhesive Scotch tape. Just going to stick that right on there. Just going to use my knife to clean that up. All right, and now I'm just going to use my UV resin and use my UV light to seal this up. We're just going to add right over the bottom. And now we're just going to hit that with the UV light until it's cured. This actually works quite well. And I'll be back when it's cured. All right, so I've got one more way here today for sealing your tumblers, and we're going to use a RTV silicone, and we're going to use, you can technically just use the silicone. Maybe we'll just try that with this one. We'll see how it works. I've never tried the silicone. So we're going to clean this off. I've already cleaned this off quite well with alcohol. I'm just doing it once more. And then you should wear gloves when you're using this. I'm not gonna, because I'm not going to be touching it here, and I'm just doing this quickly. So I already punctured a little hole here. I'm just going to fill this up with, hopefully you can see that, fill this up with the silicone. All right, and we're just going to let this dry or cure until tomorrow, and I'll be back to show you the results. All right, and here is our silicone seal, and that actually worked very, very well. Nice and dry, worked out good. So I definitely recommend the RTV silicone for doing that. And I didn't put anything in there, just put it right in the hole, and we're nice and sealed. Perfection. And that's one way you can do this without using resin as well, because I know some people are allergic to UV resin, so that is another alternative to the UV resin. All right, so this way to seal the tumblers is for if you have a fairly large hole, like if you've got really chunky glitter, or if you've got something large you're putting in there and you need to make a bigger hole. These are a furniture bumper, but they have a little lip on them on the other side, if you can see that. You can see the little lip. And so what you're going to do is you want to get the base of the furniture bumper into the tumbler and have the lip still on the outside. So you may need a tool or something to get this in. I've got a few different things. This is one of my sculpting tools. It's sharp on the end, so this probably isn't recommended, but I've got a file that would probably even work, or if you've got a one of those little Cricut tools for vinyl, that would also work. Just something to push that in. You want to get the base of it in, but have the lips still on the outside of your tumbler so it doesn't fall into the tumbler. There we go. That's pretty good. That's in there. Not quite. At the other end. Not quite in there. There we go. So we've got that in there, and then we're going to use the UV resin and seal that off. And that works really well if you've got a large hole. Make sure that your bumper is below the edge of the lip of your tumbler, otherwise you'll have a bump on the bottom. So just make sure that's flat on the other side. And then you're just going to hit that with your UV light, and there we go. We've got a nice seal on that. Perfect. No leaks. And on to the next one. All right, and for my last way to seal tumblers, I've got these little tiny furniture plugs. You can see that there. Now this is great when you've got a tiny hole And these are also fairly easy to remove. So if you've got a tumbler that you want to change, like say that's one that you like and you want to change the fluid in it, so you want to be able to pop the seal out easy, these are a really good alternative just because they've got a fairly good lip on them there, so you can get something under there quite easily to remove it. Now there's 3 different ways you can do this. You can use your silicone. Just put a dab on there and just push it in, and then you don't have to resin this, which is, I'm trying to find a way to seal these that doesn't use resin. There's a lot of people who are allergic to resin and they've asked for alternatives to the resining. So the other way you can do this is just use your hot glue. So same thing, hot glue, put your seal in. Try not to make too big of a mess. It's easy to make a blob with hot glue, which I think I'm actually going to use the hot glue on this. Another alternative is the industrial glue here. I'm just trying to find it. So anyways, the E9000 glue, which I cannot find, but I do have here somewhere. I'm going to use the hot glue on this today. You could also use resin on this if that's what you want to use. You can use resin. I have wiped this already, but with these oil-filled tumblers, I try to get them as clean as possible because they are a little harder to seal than some of the other tumblers. So all I'm going to do is just put some hot glue on this, and then we are going to stick it in there. Now, I'm not real big on hot glue because I've burned myself so many times, so I'm just going to use some tweezers here to hold this little end here. We're just going to hot glue that. And then we're going to put it right into the tumbler. We might put a little hot glue right onto there as well. And then we're going to put that right in there. And I like to keep my fingers well away from the hot glue. Okay, there we go. We're going to let that set up, and then we'll be back. All right, and there that is all set up. And again, if you want to remove this, you can stick a little tool under there and pop your seal back out. You may have a little bit of glue residue, but you should be pretty good. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this video has been informative. I do have another video called 3 ways to seal snow globe tumblers, which has a few more different ways to seal your tumblers if this didn't fulfill your tumbler sealing needs. I do put out at least one new video every week, so please do subscribe, and thanks so much for watching.